should you eat the day before, the day of, for your marathon, your triathlon, your Ironman, whatever event it is? Well, obviously the distance is going to make a lot of difference with the amounts and things like that. So let's just keep it to standard marathons, Olympic distance triathlons, and maybe 70.3s. Iron distance, maybe we need a little bit more, and that would be roughly the only thing to change. The first thing we need to look at is, what are you doing the day before? Like, we're going to just plan this on the fact that you may have had a bit of a carb up. So the day before, your aim is to fill up your glycogen stores as much as possible. You've had your taper and everything like that, so your carbohydrates have been getting in the muscles. So today is what happens. You're going to get the carbohydrates in the muscles. Most of your food is going to be carbohydrates. Try and keep the fiber a little bit lower, and try to make sure you keep your GI distress as low as possible. So how do we do that? We make sure that you do not stuff yourself silly. We make sure the food you get in is not going to push you over the limit. You eat every few hours. And evening meal, have something that is like maybe 65-75% carbohydrates, a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat. And actually what's quite key, and it goes on to the next point, which is sleep, is that I get clients to have like oats and fruit, usually like a banana or some berries and things like this. Things that are going to help you relax and promote serotonin release to get you to sleep. Now, if you are a person that finds themselves that they can't sleep very well before a race, then don't stress yourself out too much. Provided you're getting good sleep 3-4 days out, and the day before, then you are going to be fine on race day. Your body will be recovered. But if you really want to, then you can take like over-the-counter sleeping aids, Nitol, things like that. Try not to get too much in there, because if you need prescriptions for them, they're going to be a little bit strong, so they might make you a bit groggy the next day. But I mean, I personally wouldn't say to do it to a client specifically if there was another way. But if you have to, then fine, you'll get a little bit more sleep. Waking up the next day. So race starts 7-8 o'clock, something like that. You want 2 or 3 hours to get your breakfast in, get a decent breakfast, to then not have to stress out and make sure you are ready on the start line an hour beforehand. Not on the start line, in the area of the start line. So have an oatmeal, some eggs or milk with your oatmeal, a little bit of peanut butter, maybe a bagel, some fruit. These things are all good items to have there. You don't want to have too much fat, too much protein, but you do want to have a little bit. Concentrate, carbohydrates, that is where the emphasis is there. Keep your carbohydrate levels 70-odd percent, 80%, because you want to make sure you are getting as much in there as possible without causing GI distress. Now, what is key here on race day is that you are not going to be replenishing muscle glycogen anymore. You are going to be replenishing liver glycogen. So that is going to help with your brain function, and that is going to be pretty key for your mental clarity throughout the race. So make sure you get enough here. Hydration, like people say about this 2% like performance decrease, like if you're dehydrated. Now chances are people are actually going to be at the race line 1% dehydrated anyway. You don't need to have as much as people think, provided the days before you have plenty of water and you're having the carbohydrates, so that water is going to get into the muscles as well. Now, having about, say, half a litre, 500 mils, just over like 16 ounces of water between the time you wake up to about an hour before you race is a good amount to have. That includes like water in your food, water in any gels or drinks you may have or anything like that. An hour before, it just allows you to go and take a piss and just get rid of any excess fluid that you've got like an hour before, and not have that sloshing about in your stomach too much. Now there is that, as I said, that 2% where people say dehydration, 2% or more, you're going to have a massive performance decrease. Now most marathon runners are going to be around sort of like 8% to 10% dehydrated when they finish a race. So try not to be too stressed out about that 2%. Just get fluid on board. Caffeine is great for you. However, as with anything that I say in this pre-race side of things, make sure you try these before you get to race day. Don't try anything new on race day. Why? Because that's just setting yourself up for fail. It's a minefield of the nutrition side of things. It add that stress, that adrenaline there. You are in a place you don't necessarily know, a climate you don't necessarily know. Why just try something new when you could keep a little bit more control on it? And at the start, one of the things I always say to people is that have a gel handy. Like, have a gel, like when you're about to start, if you're at the swim start or anything like that, have a gel literally a couple of minutes before you start, even a couple of mouthfuls of sports drink. Why? It helps that refueling process as you're going along, especially in a 70.3 when you've got a slightly longer swim. Then you know that you're going to be replenishing glycogen stores, but you can keep your blood sugar levels up, so you've got some fuel in there. So those are the keys. Pre-race nutrition, so it starts the day before, or even before that really. Getting your sleep right, getting your breakfast right, getting your hydration right, try some caffeine, but overall, don't try anything you haven't tried in training.